Senator Hunt, you're recognized to open on your priority motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wonder how many women in Nebraska feel embarrassed and scared listening to that. The hardest thing about this job for me is coming in every day, showing up every day, and knowing that our job today is not going to be to imagine the future. It's not going to be to build something better or take bold leaps forward or bring the future into being, which I think is what our job is. It's to try again to stop codifying discrimination at the state level. It's to stop the state from rereading the book of life from chapter 1 over and over and over again, never getting to chapter 2. There's a whole crayon box of life, and you only want to use 2 colors. And I think that's embarrassing. I think it's boring. This state could be so much more. We have the people, we have the values, we have the potential, but we're squandering it constantly by sticking with the same old playbook, the same old talking points, and fear-based bills based on fear. And it makes our state a laughingstock. It's hard to even have a serious debate about this because we aren't starting from a serious premise. It's not a serious idea. People who are in the middle, people who are confused. I mean, I've spoken to people in the last week who didn't know that intersex people exist, that this isn't another left-wing talking point to scare people about gender, that this is a real condition that people have and that this bill leaves them out of that. I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking from within the experience of my own echo chamber or something like that. I'm not preaching to the choir, to like-minded people who might be here today or listening, and I'm not speaking to my friends who know a lot more about this stuff than I do. I'm speaking to these people in the middle who are coming from a place of not malice, but of true, honest, good faith ignorance. You just don't know. You just don't know what you're talking about. You really don't. We will spend a lot of time today talking about locker rooms and signage, but what we're really dealing with here at the end of the day is fear. Manufactured, weaponized fear. And I want to challenge you not to fall for it. We all want students to feel safe, but safety is not the same thing as comfort. You don't have the right to be comfortable. And discomfort isn't the same thing as danger. Colleagues, Nebraskans, if you feel scared, that doesn't mean you are in danger. Trans kids existing in a restroom, in a 4th grade classroom, it doesn't hurt anyone. But forcing them out, singling them out, humiliating them, that does cause harm. We don't get to legislate someone's identity just because some people feel uneasy. Feeling uneasy and uncomfortable is not harm. It's not danger. That's not the same thing. That's not protection. It's oppression. It's oppression of other people who are asking nothing of us but to be left alone. Proponents say this bill is needed because some cisgender girls feel unsafe. But what you're describing isn't danger, it's discomfort. And if your solution to someone's discomfort is to humiliate somebody, to isolate and endanger somebody else, you're not solving a problem, you're creating one. This bill is not the product of Nebraskans demanding clarity. It's not because schools needed a policy and they needed the legislature to jump in and solve this for them. They're not confused. Colleagues, it's only a political distraction. That's it. It's a silly bill. Beyond general file today, we do not have to let it dominate our time. We don't have to let it cloud our judgment or distort what's actually happening in our state, because this is not a real solution because we don't have a real problem. It's theater, and we should be embarrassed to be giving it the power that it does not deserve. Instead of talking about housing or healthcare or taxes or water, we're debating signage on bathrooms. Instead of investing in education, we are mandating a new layer of government bureaucracy for gender inspection and enforcement. Instead of protecting kids from real harm, we are creating phantom threats that aren't real and punishing real existing children in response. These are policies, colleagues, that are preposterous. It's the only word. Not just wrong, but ridiculously wrong. And they're designed to dominate public discourse. They're designed to suck all the oxygen out of the room. Look how that's been the case since Senator Kauth joined the body. The oxygen has been sucked out of the room by the gender cops and their ideology that has filled this body with things that are completely irrelevant to the work that we're actually called here to do. These policies are so outrageous that they force everyone to stop what they're doing and say, are we really talking about this? What are intersex kids? You know, we're having conversations that are frankly none of our business and do nothing to advance the success of our state or the success of people in it and are actually actively harmful. That's how bad ideas work. That's how movements against freedom distract and destabilize us. And yeah, sometimes they come dressed as quote unquote common sense bills with soft language and slogans about standing with women and safety and fairness, but the effect is the same. They create chaos and confuse people where there was no problem before. They force us to waste our breath talking about why the absurd is absurd, why the ridiculous is ridiculous, why this is preposterous, and they make us dumber. They make us stupider just by forcing us to engage with them. My heart breaks for the trans kids who want to play soccer with their friends without issue and who have been doing it their whole lives, who now have to learn the sting of exclusion from their communities and their teachers because of their government. They deserve elected leaders who will fight for them and mean it. The fact is that state senators are more dangerous to children than their classmates are. We are doing more harm to kids than any other kid that these trans people are going to school with. So don't let fear-based, politically motivated panic distract us from the real work that we need to do. Don't mistake loud voices for widespread concern. If you find yourself feeling confused by this bill and you're thinking, well, maybe we should define sex in state law. Maybe we should make sure that the kids have the right pee-pee po-po that they're supposed to go in the little closet to pee-pee. Really cool, mature work for government to be doing. Ask yourself who benefits from that. It's not kids. It's not educators or teachers or communities or schools. We need the courage to stop letting our work be distracted by culture war issues, and to do that, we need leadership that can't be baited. It's all performative. Today's Republican Party and GOP has zero interest in actual governance because it doesn't generate publicity and donations. That's it. And I could say the same thing about the Democratic Party in their own way. But this issue, they figured out that culture war wedge issues are easy to leverage and generate massive amounts of money, and all of this is performative. But the consequences are real, and the consequences hurt kids. And that's why we are forced to take this preposterous stuff seriously. But let's not give it more weight than it deserves. Let's not act like this is a reasonable disagreement between equals, that reasonable people can disagree on this. This is a manufactured crisis. It's a bad idea. And we should treat it from start to finish with the contempt that it deserves. I can't think of anything more vile and small and pathetic and embarrassing for all of you than terrorizing the youngest, smallest, barely any people, most vulnerable community of people who want nothing from you except to be left alone. You talk about like, oh, there's men going into the bathroom and harassing women. Well, then it sounds like you have a problem with men. Sounds like men are the problem, not trans women. You are ignorant. We all want students to feel safe, but remember, safety isn't the same thing as comfort, and discomfort isn't danger. In a society, in our pluralistic culture that we do live in, whether you ban DEI or not, we do, you have to learn how to deal with diversity. You have to learn how to deal with people who are different than you, who don't conform to how you think they should act. And what this bill does is oppresses people who are harming nobody. And, I look forward to the conversation about today. Thank you, Mr. President.